the past week has been the dust-up between Tashara Jones, the treasurer who's running for mayor, and Lyda Krewson, and Jeff Roorda, who's the business manager and spokesman for the St. Louis Police Officers Association. I tried desperately to get Jeff on the show, but he's not speaking about this issue right now because some of these powerful politicians are trying to get him fired because he had a little tit for tat with Tashara Jones. And now Lyda Krewson claims that if she becomes mayor, he will no longer be allowed in her office. That's kind of what it's come down to. We've got Chief Tom Jackson, formerly from the Ferguson Police Department, on the phone right now because he wrote a great letter to the editor in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch supporting Jeff Roorda and being rather critical of one of their columnists, Tony Messenger. Chief, how are you?
I'm doing good, Mark. Good to talk to you.
Oh, good. I'm doing well, thank you. How's that book coming along?
It's in pre-sales now. You can buy it on Amazon.com. It'll be coming out August 1st.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. We'll have to have you on the show and talk a little bit more about that one of these days. Saw this article in the Post, and I just wanted to have you on to talk about it. What motivated you to give your 2 cents on this issue?
Well, a couple of things. One is just the pure hypocrisy of it. But I'll get back to that. And the other thing is that Jeff Roorda is a good man. I've known him for years and years, both as a politician, a police officer, and in his position there. He's just a big supporter of law enforcement, cops on the line, and somebody needed to come to his defense.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think they'd print the article. But the other thing is just the pure hypocrisy of what they're doing. Now, you think back to Ferguson, you had all kinds of private citizens, they called them peaceful protesters, in the streets hurling all kinds of insults and threats and all this stuff at police officers and public officials, that's protected. But here's Jeff Roorda, a private citizen, criticizing a public official running for mayor, and they want him fired for his speech. Just the hypocrisy of that was overwhelming to me. I just had to say something about it. Well,
I was under the impression that Tashara Jones fired the first shot in this. I may be wrong about that, but she referred to him in as a cop she said what was it? Something about she hated the fact that he was the worst person in skin that she knew, or something like that.
Yeah, it was something pretty terrible.
And he fired back at her, and they kind of had a little back and forth on social media. Strikes me that's how it all got started. And then Lyda Krewson decided to step into the fray.
Sure, but what really bothered me is the press. The only newspaper in the St. Louis region put their full bottle of ink on it to get a man fired for what he said to a public official. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. You also take a little bit of issue with Tony Messenger, who has sort of picked up the mantle on this for the Post and been carrying it forward.
Yeah. There's a guy that he's the spokesman for. He's the one that's always out there self-aggrandizing and calling the rest of us racist or whatever happens to be on his plate at the time. And that's again just more hypocrisy. And I'm sure Tashara Jones, she seems like a strong woman. She doesn't need, the faux, enlightened white guy out there defending her honor.
Yeah. Tony's talked about that in one of his articles one time, that he lives downtown. He defends a lot of that, but he works downtown, but he lives out west somewhere. So,
and I don't have a problem with that. You go where you look for schools, you look for property, but to constantly lecture everybody else, and then his actions speak louder than his words.
Well, Jeff Roorda has written a book. I believe it was Ferguson is what he called it. About Ferguson, about what happened up in Ferguson, and I mean, I know you've got a book coming out on the same subject.
Sure.
I'm certain that his criticisms of how that was handled probably didn't sit well with a lot of the establishment politicians in the St. Louis area.
Well, what he said was spot on.
Oh, sure.
In his book, and their behavior, as you remember, was deplorable. I mean, they were cowards. They ran. They hid behind their own self-righteousness, and their behavior from the governor on down was just despicable. not to mention the national politicians.
Well, I would encourage people to get on the Post-Dispatch website. You can go under the opinion editor, letters to the editor, and read this article entitled "Messenger's Criticism of Police Spokesman is Out of Line." And glad to see you back in the fray and hearing your voice here, Tom, I have to say.
Well, good. It's good to hear you. Well, I hear you all the time.
Well, I've got you on here. What do you? What's your opinion been so far, or have you noticed any change in the tone coming from Washington toward law enforcement?
Oh yeah. I just love the fact that law enforcement now is good guys again to the federal government. You know, for so long you had Al Sharpton going into the White House and these violent people from Black Lives Matter going out of the White House, and police officers, you know, back in the real world are wondering what's going on. Why are we the bad guys all of a sudden? And I know it's just nice to have the rhetoric, you know, more towards supporting law enforcement and getting behind our cops and things like that. I'm very happy to hear it. Yeah,
me too. And well, I mean, I think we'll continue to see more of that, but to me, the biggest difference is going from an administration that selectively enforced laws to one that's saying these are the laws, your law enforcement, go enforce them.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what law enforcement's job primarily is to enforce the law. That's what we pay them to do.
And preferably not to pick and choose. I mean, my theory all along is that was one of the purposes of part of the riots in Ferguson and the other ones we've seen across the country is to force police to draw back and not enforce the laws that are on the books, not to proactively police, as you and I have discussed before.
Many times, yeah. And that's absolutely true. And now having the Justice Department that literally hated police departments is gone. At least from the leadership position, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, that is good news for all of law enforcement, in my opinion. That's a good thing. Well, Chief Tom Jackson, listen, it's always a pleasure to hear from you, and we'll get you on again soon, and we'll talk more about that book that's coming out in August.
Okay, Mark, sounds good.
Hey, Chief, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care. Chief Tom Jackson, formerly of the Ferguson Police Department. He's now retired, but he does have a book coming out, and this article is just spot on. I was glad that he is speaking out on behalf of Jeff Roorda. A lot of people have been hesitant to do so, I think, because of the politics that are involved here. But, I mean, when it's almost, I mean, to have two leading politicians in a mayor race effectively come out and say that if they get elected, they're not going to deal with you anymore, and you're the business manager for the Police Officers Association, that's a problem. They're trying to make this man lose his job because they don't like what he said about something. They don't suffer the criticism. They're just trying to shut him up, which is a real shame. Really is. Okay, let's get to a break. And first, though, we'll give away a couple of tickets to the Southern Uprising Tour. Caller number, let's go with caller number 8. Caller number 8 gets 2 tickets to the Uprising Tour. Travis Tritt, Charlie Daniels, Marshall Tucker, The Outlaws, September 30th at the Family Arena. Tickets are on sale now, but you go to 971talk.com and you can have another chance to win. 314-969-9797. Good luck to you, and we'll be back in just a minute.
The Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com. Dependable weather.
Clouds take control today. Chance of a couple of spotty
with Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray.
Brought to you by Air Comfort Service. Time to get your furnace ready for cool weather. For a furnace tune-up or new furnace estimate, see their specials at aircomfortservice.com.
All right, I'm sure that one of your favorite restaurants is on the list somewhere. Wicked Greens, Weber Grill, Walnut Grill, Whole Foods, the Texas Roadhouse, Tavern, Kitchen and Bar, Stir Crazy, Straub's. That's just a few of the restaurants that are going to be at Soups on St. Louis this weekend, Sunday the 26th, 11 to 2 at Merrimack Community College. It is Manor Grove, the long-term care rehab and recovery center in Kirkwood, that's hosting this. It's not a fundraiser. It's a way for them to give back to the community. All of these great restaurants, Amigos, Big Chief, Bravo, Jason's Deli, Joey B's, Nami Ramen, just to name a few, 25 restaurants, 24 or 25, are going to be there. You can sample their soups and their desserts, and then you can vote along with the celebrity judges on the winners. It's a great time, and you're going to enjoy yourself. Tickets are $10 a piece. Kids under 12 are $5. You can get discount tickets at manorgrove.com. Again, that's Soups On, presented by Manor Grove, Merrimack Community College, this Sunday, the 26th, 11 to 2. You can also call them at 965-0864.
Wow, it's freezing outside. Do you have a fireplace in your home to keep you warm and toasty? If not, then you need to see the fireplace experts at Fireside Hearth & Home in Arnold. Whether you want to improve a drafty old fireplace or install a whole new one, Fireside Hearth & Home in Arnold's got you covered. Their showroom has over 80 burning displays featuring gorgeous energy-efficient gas, wood, pellet, and electric fireplaces, stoves, and inserts from industry-leading manufacturers Heat & Glow, Quadrifire, Harmon, Vermont Castings, and Monessen. Fireside Hearth & Home in Arnold also carries everything you need to accessorize your fireplace, including doors, stone, mantles, granite, home decor, tool sets, and more. Fireside Hearth & Home knows fireplaces. Be sure to ask about the gas insert free